Bickley and Marotta Mornings. Arizona Sports, the local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
The NFL's 17-game schedule has made it extremely difficult to conduct an annual rite of passage and a great sporting tradition, the midseason awards, because the actual halfway point of the season for the Cardinals would actually be just around the time Amari DiMercato busted the Bears for a touchdown run a few seconds before halftime in Week 9, which is the perfect exclamation point for the first half if you think about it, because the Cardinals at this point, they have got a great mid-term report card. An A for the running game, an A for the coaching staff, an A+ for special teams. They get an A for offensive line and tight ends. They get B's for an overachieving, underfunded, no-name defense. And then there's the quarterback. Kyler Murray has been really efficient. He leads the league in fewest interceptions and is among the hardest in the NFL to sack. And bottom line, he's been pretty good. But now, with the surging Rams and the 49ers hitting reset with the return of Christian McCaffrey, now is the time for Kyler Murray to be great, to lead this team back to the postseason, because this is his real Call of Duty. All right, today's Bickley Blast brought to you by my great friends at Chapman BMW, who make luxury attainable. Find them online at chapmanbmw.com.
Yeah, well, first of all, it's a very winnable division, given the fact that every team is either 4-4 or 5-4 in the case of only the Arizona Cardinals. So it's not like I'm expecting them to dig themselves out of some 3-game gap, but I think that what they've done in these first 9 games, and especially in these most recent games, is real and it's sustainable. I think they do have an offensive identity. I think they have this extremely diverse running game where they can give you a ton of different looks, a bunch of different personnel groupings, and they've got a couple of different guys who have made meaningful contributions as runners. Obviously, James and Kyler being the most prominent two, but last week, seeing Amari break off that 53-yard run just before halftime was a testament to how he is one of the more underappreciated players on this roster. And while I think Trey Benson's role is going to probably be mostly contingent upon how healthy James remains, a player that I thought highly of in the draft. It was good to see him find some chunk runs last week.
It's Field Yates of ESPN. He joined Wolf and Luke yesterday here on Arizona Sports on why he thinks the Cardinals can win the division.
Mm-hmm.
He talked about all these mid-season predictions and updated playoff prognostications, award picks, and all that. They're all out on every website. ESPN did it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is, what could happen in the NFC West? And there's 3 scenarios. One scenario is the San Francisco 49ers will miss the playoffs. Matt Miller wrote about that. The Los Angeles Rams will win the division. Dan Orlovsky wrote about that. Field Yates himself wrote the Arizona Cardinals will win the division. He said no division is tighter right now. Cardinals stand half a game up on the other 3 teams at 5-4. And said a lot of the same things that he said in that soundbite on Wolf and Luke. So there is growing belief that
that they can get this done.
Yeah, this is not fluky. Maybe the quality of the division is the fluky part, but the Cardinals are actually very capable of being the best team in a flawed division.
Now, I saw Jarrett cringe when I used my closing line, Call of Duty, for Kyler Murray.
I liked
Yes,
it.
You did. I saw you.
It wasn't a cringe. It was an acknowledgement of the line. It wasn't. I thought it was good.
That looked like you were like cringing.
Well,
okay,
I can't
no
help
big.
myself.
Yeah, well, it's okay. It's all right. I'm sure I'll do the same when you play your song later on.
Oh, I think you're gonna like this one.
Okay.
I really do.
So, but really, if Kyler Murray's his stated goal is to get the Cardinals to the Super Bowl, it starts with getting back to the playoffs. So that is his Call of Duty, and I think that he's really going to be the differentiation from this point going forward. We've seen the fact that the Cardinals are a well-prepared team. They tackle well. They don't commit a lot of penalties. They're usually very well focused, very well coached, which means they're going to be in most games. And if their quarterback can kick it up another notch and be like a Joe Burrow and be like a Lamar Jackson, then you got to like their chances. It's going to be fascinating because the 49ers, every team plays mental gymnastics. Every team finds narratives to rally around. For the 49ers, they're like, okay, Christian McCaffrey, he's back. Had a great week of practice. All right, we're going to be good now. 49ers got a tough schedule. The Rams were 1-3 at one point in time. They're 4-4 now.
They were 1-4.
Yeah, they were 1-4 at one point in time. They have got games against the Patriots coming up. They've got a game against the Saints coming up. They've got a cushy schedule, very much the way people think that the Cardinals kind of have a softer schedule. They're trying to do something that hasn't happened very often. Since 1970, only 253 teams have ever gone 1-4 to start the season and made the playoffs. Now, 253 might sound like a big number to you, but we're also talking about 55 years. So
That still sounds like a very big number.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It sucks because Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp came back just in the nick of time for that team, because it felt like they might have been on the cusp of sort of giving up on the season, blowing up. We talked about would they trade Matthew Stafford and stuff. They came back just at the right time, and now they've won 3 in a row.
So the question becomes, can the Cardinals do it? And the answer is, of course they can, but it also really shines a light on how important this particular game is right now.
Yes.
The Rams have the Dolphins on Monday Night Football, and the Dolphins are damaged. They've got Tua back, but they're still not firing. So I don't know what to expect out of that particular game. But this game for the Cardinals against the Jets, like they all do, it feels very, very important. You get to the bye at 6-4 now, you've got the table set.
Yep. And a lot of it said it does. It rests on the shoulders of Kyler Murray, and they got a win where he didn't have to be Superman, in his own words, last week, and that was very refreshing for everybody involved. They're going to get this done. Kyler's going to have to continue to play good football. And Dan Orlovsky from ESPN says this is the best he's seen Kyler play.
Yeah, I think there's 3 things that are allowing him to play to that style, and I expect that to continue to be the case. Number 1, he doesn't panic. Even when you pressure him, when you blitz him, the Chicago Bears tried to blitz one way and drop out underneath. Never underestimate your ability to not throw the football. He goes to throw that stick route, not there, gets outside of that pressure, finds the back Benson, and just that little dump off goes for an 18-yard gain because he's not overwhelmed by that pressure. The second thing, this game is slow for him right now. He is seeing it very quickly again. Chicago tries to blitz him, tries to pressure him with guys off the line of scrimmage and droppers. You got that 3-level sail indoor flood. But as McBride comes out of his break, those defenders are outside of him. Don't lead him there, Kyler. Hold him up. Back shoulder that corner out.
Yeah, there's a lot of visual.
Jared, you caught a vibe there, man.
There was a
you
lot of
caught a
visual in that
vibe there.
soundbite, so I cut it off short.
had a music bed. It had a bum, bum, bum. I don't know why they do that on TV. Every time they show a highlight when someone's talking, they have to start playing a music bed underneath it.
Yeah.
And then as soon as the highlight's done, they stop,
Yeah.
and the person keeps talking.
It,
I know they don't
the way
do it.
you just reacted, it makes you feel the energy and it makes it move faster.
I guess, but they.
I don't know.
Your dancing just answered your question is
Yes.
exactly what she's telling you.
It is very much intentional.
But it's not playing underneath their entire time they're talking.
Yes, then you can
Just when
focus on what the talking heads are saying.
Don't they know? Don't they? They should really focus on making things playable for our radio show
Yeah,
instead of
Right.
on
Instead of,
TV.
yeah,
we'll let them know.
Okay.
My problem with that was not the music. The problem that I had with that was that somebody cut that up to present on radio when Dan Orlovsky is clearly at a telestrator.
That would require thought.
Did nothing for me. Anyway, back to Field Yates. There's no music behind this one, and there's no telestrating going on. We've talked so much about Kyler Murray from a leadership standpoint. It's being noticed by others, including Field Yates.
So this is totally anecdotal, guys. I certainly can't speak to it at the same level that you guys can, but it feels to me, and you guys can tell me I'm either nuts or maybe I am on the fence here, like Kyler's leadership has been better this year.
Yes.
Maybe I mean, I don't know about ever, but
No,
you know,
you're
at
right,
least in the
Phil.
past couple of years. It feels like Kyler's voice is being heard. It feels like his leadership is really helping this team find ways to, win games and also make sure that most every game is competitive.
Yeah, so it's happening. Now, what level can Kyler Murray continue to ascend to? He might need to do that on Sunday against the New York Jets.
Keep doing what you're doing. Protect the ball. The turnovers, the protection, the not taking sacks. He's been fantastic at that this year. Orchestrating and just being patient with being the conductor of the running game. It's been a great winning strategy. But when you get to late November and when you get into December, this game becomes about quarterbacks and it becomes about defense. And the NFL always shifts. It shifts with the weather. So let's freaking party!
Yep, Cardinals and Jets, 2:25 on Sunday afternoon from State Farm Stadium. You can, of course, hear it here on Arizona Sports.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.